The training hall of the Orion Academy shimmered with artificial gravity waves. Holographic grids stretched across the ceiling like a net of light, and in the center stood two figures, an alien combat instructor and his human pupil. Instructor Velcor towered over the cadet. His limbs were jointed in three directions, his eyes faceted like crystals. He belonged to the Braxian, a warrior race whose reflexes were the stuff of legend. To them, combat was as natural as breathing. To them, humans were slow. Cadet Ryland Pierce, however, wasn't easily rattled. He adjusted the straps of his training suit, suppressing a nervous grin. He had been warned. Velcor enjoyed humiliating humans during drills. "Human reflexes," Velcor rasped, his voice layered like grinding stones, "are the cosmic equivalent of molasses dripping uphill. You will swing too late, dodge too late, and think too late. Try not to embarrass your species more than usual." The Braxian students in the observation deck hissed their amusement. They clicked mandibles in sync, a cruel laughter. Ryland clenched his fists, but remained calm. His instructors back on Earth had told him that alien taunts were part of the test. Let him underestimate you, Ryland reminded himself. The match began. Velcor moved first, so fast the eye could barely follow. A triple-jointed arm slashed downward with a training blade, but Ryland twisted aside at the last instant. The strike carved a bright arc of light across the floor grid, missing by inches. A hush fell. "Beginner's luck," Velcor hissed. His second strike came faster, thrusting like a spear. But Ryland's body seemed to flow around it, bending low and springing away. Something was off. Humans weren't supposed to move like that. Not in alien eyes. Ryland's reflexes had been sharpened through years of neural simulations back on Earth. While Braxian warriors trained in raw speed, humans had developed adaptive timing systems. His brain didn't just react, it predicted. Every flick of Velcor's limbs, every subtle shift in his weight, Ryland's mind processed like pieces of a puzzle falling into place. He wasn't faster. He was simply ahead. The alien crowd grew restless. Their champion, the master who mocked humans endlessly, was missing every strike. Velcor snarled. His limbs blurred, a flurry of cuts and thrusts that would have overwhelmed any normal human. Yet Ryland slid, ducked, and pivoted the way water slips through a clenched fist. "You mock what you don't understand," Ryland said under his breath. "That's why you keep failing." Velcor froze for half a heartbeat, enraged that a human dared to speak during combat. That pause was all Ryland needed. With a sudden burst, he stepped inside the alien's guard and placed the flat of his training blade against Velcor's chest. The grid lines flared green, direct hit. The hall erupted in stunned silence. For the first time in his career, Velcor had been struck by a human. "You cheated," Velcor rasped, though the edge of doubt crept into his tone. "No," Ryland said firmly. "I adapted. That's what humans do best." The Braxian students whispered among themselves. They had always considered adaptability a weakness, a sign of instability. Yet, watching Ryland, they realized it was something else, unpredictability, the very thing their rigid combat instincts couldn't anticipate. Velcor lowered his blade slowly, his crystalline eyes narrowing. At last, he gave the traditional Braxian warrior's bow, something rarely offered to an inferior species. "Perhaps," Velcor admitted, "molasses can flow if heated enough." Ryland smiled faintly. It wasn't exactly a compliment, but it was the closest thing to respect he'd get. As the crowd dispersed, whispers spread through the academy. A new legend had begun, the human cadet who could outmaneuver a Braxian master. And deep down, Velcor knew the truth. He hadn't just been defeated by human reflexes. He had been defeated by human evolution, by the strange, unpredictable ability to learn, adapt, and survive against odds no other species dared challenge. For the first time in centuries, the Braxian were afraid of what humanity might become.